Your mind is supposed to protect you. It is designed to solve problems, predict danger, and guide your decisions. But for most people, it does the opposite. Instead of helping you move forward, it holds you back. Instead of creating clarity, it creates confusion. And instead of protecting you from failure, it traps you in inaction. This is the dark side of overthinking, because overthinking does not feel like a problem at first. It feels like intelligence, like awareness, like control. You tell yourself you are being careful, that you are analyzing every angle, that you are preparing for the best possible outcome. But in reality, you are avoiding action. Overthinking is not deep thinking. It is repetitive thinking. The same thoughts, the same doubts, looping again and again without resolution. And the more you think, the more real those thoughts begin to feel. This is where the problem begins. Your brain cannot clearly distinguish between imagined scenarios and real experiences. So when you think about failure, your body reacts as if failure is already happening. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your breathing changes. You feel stress, not because something is actually wrong, but because your mind has created a false signal. And once that signal is triggered, your brain looks for evidence to justify it. You start noticing risks, flaws, worst-case scenarios. Everything begins to look more dangerous than it actually is. This creates a feedback loop. You think, you feel anxious, you think more, anxiety increases, and eventually you reach a point where taking action feels overwhelming, not because the action itself is difficult, but because your mind has made it feel dangerous. This is how overthinking turns simple decisions into complex problems. A small choice becomes a major risk. A simple step feels like a permanent commitment, and instead of moving forward, you stay stuck. Another hidden danger of overthinking is decision fatigue. Every thought requires energy. Every possibility you consider drains your mental resources. So when you spend hours analyzing a situation, you are not becoming more prepared. You are becoming more exhausted. And when your brain is exhausted, it looks for relief. The easiest form of relief is avoidance. So you delay the decision. You postpone the action. You tell yourself you need more time. But what you actually need is less thinking, because clarity is not created through endless analysis. It is created through movement. Overthinking also destroys confidence. Confidence is not built in your head. It is built through action. Every time you act, you gather evidence. You learn what works. You learn what doesn't. And slowly, you begin to trust yourself. But when you overthink, you remove that process. You stay in your head instead of engaging with reality. So there is no feedback, no progress, no growth. And without progress, confidence cannot exist. Instead, doubt grows stronger, because your brain fills the gap with assumptions. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if this goes wrong? These questions feel important, but they are not productive. They do not lead to solutions. They lead to hesitation. And hesitation is where opportunities disappear. There is also a deeper psychological reason behind overthinking. Control. Humans crave certainty. We want to know what will happen before it happens. We want guarantees, but reality does not offer that. So the brain tries to create certainty through prediction. It simulates outcomes. It runs scenarios. It searches for the safest possible path. But the more it searches, the more uncertainty it finds. Because for every possible success, there is a possible failure. So instead of feeling in control, you feel overwhelmed. And that overwhelm leads to paralysis. You wait, you hesitate, you do nothing. And doing nothing feels safer than making the wrong move. But in reality, doing nothing is the biggest mistake, because inaction has consequences too. Opportunities pass, time moves forward, progress stops, and over time, this creates regret, not from failure, but from never trying. Another effect of overthinking is that it disconnects you from the present moment. You are no longer experiencing reality as it is. You are experiencing a version of reality created by your thoughts. Instead of focusing on what is in front of you, you are focused on what might happen. This creates anxiety because the future is uncertain, and uncertainty, when combined with imagination, creates fear. So your mind becomes a place of tension instead of a tool for clarity. And the more time you spend in that state, the harder it becomes to break out of it. It becomes a habit, a default pattern. You automatically analyze everything, question everything, doubt everything. Even simple decisions feel heavy. What should I eat? What should I say? What if I choose wrong? This level of constant evaluation drains energy, and eventually, you stop trusting yourself completely. That is the real damage. Not just lost time, but lost self-trust. Because when you constantly second-guess yourself, you train your brain to believe that you are not capable of making good decisions. And that belief reinforces the cycle. You think more because you trust yourself less, and you trust yourself less because you think too much. Breaking this cycle requires a shift in how you approach thinking itself. You do not need to stop thinking, you need to change how you use it. Thinking should be a tool, not a trap. It should lead to decisions, not delay them. One of the most effective ways to do this is to limit the time you spend thinking. Give yourself a window, a clear boundary. Think, evaluate, decide, and then act. Once you act, stop analyzing, because after action, reflection is more valuable than prediction. You learn more from experience than from imagination. Another powerful shift is understanding that most decisions are not permanent. Overthinking treats every choice like it is irreversible, like one mistake will define everything, but that is rarely true. Most decisions can be adjusted, corrected, improved over time. This reduces pressure, and when pressure decreases, action becomes easier. You also need to accept uncertainty. Do not eliminate it. Don't control it. Accept it, because uncertainty is not a flaw in the system. It is part of reality, and the people who move forward are not the ones who remove uncertainty. They are the ones who act despite it. There is also value in simplifying your decisions. Overthinking thrives on complexity. Too many options, too many variables, so reduce them. Focus on what matters. Ignore what doesn't. Clarity is often found in simplicity, not complexity. Another key principle is this: action creates clarity faster than thought ever will. You can spend days thinking about something and still feel unsure. Or you can take one small step and immediately learn something real. That learning builds confidence. And that confidence reduces overthinking, because now you are operating from experience, not imagination. The more you act, the less power overthinking has, because reality replaces speculation and truth replaces fear. Ultimately, your mind is not your enemy by default. It becomes your enemy when you give it too much control without direction, when you let it run without limits, when you treat every thought as truth. But thoughts are not facts. They are interpretations, possibilities, predictions, and many of them are wrong. So you cannot rely on them blindly. You have to challenge them, ignore some of them, and most importantly, act despite them, because action is what grounds you. It brings you back to reality. It gives you feedback. It builds confidence, and it breaks the cycle of overthinking. So the next time you feel stuck in your head, remember this: you are not thinking your way forward. You are thinking in circles, and the only way out is to move, even if it is a small step, even if it feels uncertain, because progress does not require perfect clarity. It requires movement. And once you start moving, your mind begins to quiet down, because it no longer needs to protect you from imagined danger. You are already facing reality, and in that moment, your mind stops being your biggest enemy and becomes a tool again.